Good evening and welcome to the June 18th, 2026 Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees meeting. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, looking around the dais, we have all 7 trustees present. We have a full house tonight. That concludes our roll call. We're going to move right into our awards and recognitions and highlights. Dr. Mixa, who do we have sitting in the front row here? Do we have some world-class winners?
Yes, well, it's not really a secret. Yeah, right. It's not really a secret, so I will just hand it over to Coach Horner and have him come up and go for it.
Let's go.
Just a few things. It takes a village to provide these student athletes a great experience, and it starts with you guys up here. So just kind of wanted to say thank you for all that you do for the student athletes here. It's definitely much appreciated. But as far as what this team did and these coaches did, this will never be done in the sport of college baseball again, unfortunately. But they won 67 games. 40 wins is a really good season. 50 wins is a great season, and not many people can accomplish that in a year. And this team won 67. So, again, I don't even know what you call over 60 wins because there's not a whole lot of people that have accomplished that in college baseball history. So, just hats off to the team, the coaches who are here, and then you guys as well as far as, helping us out and providing all the necessities that we need to help these student athletes be successful in life and on the field and moving on. So other cool thing is we are over 20 players right now that signed at the Division I level. So being able to provide those guys with the services and the things that we can to help them get prepared for the next level is second to none here. So again, really appreciate it. So coaches, you guys got anything?
The resources you guys provide us have been awesome, and they've grown every year since I've been here, and that has to do with you guys here, so we appreciate that. Couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you again.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions for Eric or his team? Trustee Cross.
Yes, thank you. Coach Horner, you had a few good jokes. One that I liked at the celebration, who was it you felt worst for on your team? Do you remember? The player you feel the worst for was?
Austin Bruce? Oh, yeah, so we had our 4-hole, Colin Coonrad, was actually a transfer from Iowa, came here for a year. We actually signed him out of high school, and then Iowa stole him from us. But we got him back after a year because I think he only got 20 or 30 at-bats at Iowa, transferred back to us just because we had already kind of built that relationship with him. And then he came back, and I think he hit 37 home runs, led the nation in walks, I think, with like 70, which is crazy. And yeah, I felt bad for him, and he's a great kid, and I was joking around with him because he was always kind of mad because Bradford, who hit 42 home runs, would always get interviewed, and Coonrad was always standing on the sidelines going, what is 37 home runs? So, we used to always joke with him that, again, he had probably the second best year in college history. But unfortunately for him, we had the first best as well. So, he got overlooked, but he was a good sport about it and a good team player. So that was kind of a running joke at the end of the year.
Two more things.
Yeah, please.
I thank you for that. I thought it was poignant. And the whole lineup, our 7-hole hitters going to Oregon, right?
7 holes going to Florida State. The 6 holes going to Oregon.
There's a whole impressive lineup in roster. A couple other things. I thank you for how much you thanked everybody, the wives, the staff. And when I was watching the Super Regional, I'm a KU grad against OU. I don't know what happened. I'm not inside KU baseball, but your comments about your staff, cutting video, studying, so that you and the team could be prepared. I felt like OU was better prepared, and I just want to commend you all for how prepared we were each and every. I watched several games, not that many, but the ones that I could watch. I want to thank you for your comments. And then I've already emailed Travis Goff a couple times, making sure KU's watching you all. Thank you for what you did.
I really appreciate you guys.
Any other questions? Trustee Jennings.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to, I was at the celebration as well, and to watch the students and see them really commend each other. And the ones that got up and spoke, they talked about what an amazing team they had for each other, not for themselves. And I have to say that really that leadership from you guys is what creates that kind of team. And the energy there was just amazing.
And that's the hardest part that our coaching staff does a great job with, because like we are a stepping stone. So our guys are coming here for a year or 2 years. And let's be honest, baseball is kind of a selfish sport in the sense where you got to have a good batting average, you got to have a good ERA, but keeping these guys still grounded and understanding they're playing for the team and each other is a tough battle, just because these guys have kind of got to get theirs to make sure they go to Division I level. So that is the hardest part of the job. But again, having coaches like we do to make sure we're all on the same page and getting these guys on the same page was kind of a huge success. And then kind of another thing that I've got too is I know sometimes it's overlooked, and again, athletics always kind of seems like a budget concern with money and whatnot, but I mean, we were on ESPN, we got on a lot of different things, so I think you guys may debate whether it was free or not, but the free marketing that this school got, I think is second to none. Again, being on ESPN, getting nationwide attention with how good this team was. I mean, I think that was huge for this school, and huge for students wanting to come to this school and things like that too.
Exactly.
Trustee Holton.
So congratulations. One quick question. Any of these young men potentially getting drafted this year as well?
We got 6 to 7 that should have a really good chance.
Oh, well, that's awesome. And then my other question, as a leader here at Johnson County Community College, I know that you are teaching young men to be baseball players and, be the best that they can from that standpoint. But what is the other one thing that you hope they leave with having you as a leader?
We have three pillars in our locker room that's planted all over our wall and things that we discuss all the time. So number one's the person, so they know we're trying to develop better people. Number two is the student, so we're trying to make sure they understand how important education is in their future. And then number three, believe it or not, is the player. So that's kind of the order that we put things in, and that's what we stress to these guys all the time. So, I mean, what's important to us is, and I think I talked about this on the ESPN interview, but, what's cool about baseball is these wins are cool, and we'll never forget this season. But for us as coaches, it's cool to have these guys, find their best friends, to get in each other's weddings, to become better, great husbands, great fathers, and great leaders in the community as well. And right after that interview aired, I got a text, I think that night, from a group of alumni that were all at a wedding, so they were cracking up. And there was a picture of about 20 of alumni all in this wedding. So that's the cool things to see, is those guys still reaching out 15 years later, and them still having the bond that they created here.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I did not get a chance to, I'm sorry I didn't make it to the ceremony this year. I was doing something that wasn't as important probably. But congratulations. But I will tell you, the very next day I was in the bookstore looking for swag. So I will have my swag at some point, and hopefully I'll be able to find a sticker for it as well.
If you go on our ex-baseball page, there's
I
a
ordered
national championship thing they created, so.
Yeah. All right, good stuff, man. Thank you.
Any other? Trustee Carroll.
Madam Chair. Congratulations, coaches. It takes a lot to be able to build a program to achieve this. I was at the celebration, and I want to commend all of your hard work, and you're just pouring into these student athletes, and so I definitely appreciate that. But I do have a question. After all the wins, after the confetti and everything like that, how did y'all celebrate individually?
Well, I don't think we've really celebrated because we haven't had a day off since we won. So between the portal and recruiting, I mean, we lost, I think, 7 freshmen. When you have a year like that, we had 7 freshmen that were big parts of it that we were really hoping and anticipating coming back, but they've got Division I offers, so they found greener grass. So we've been on the phone, especially Coach Yeager, on the portal to make sure we can have these seats filled. And another kind of cool thing about JUCO baseball, and I'm sure with KU having a good year, at the Division I level, you hear all these guys crying at the Division I level coaches about how they lose guys every year, how it's tough to build a culture in 1 year, how it's tough to develop these guys in 1 year. And I always laugh to myself because JUCO's been doing this for decades. So kind of what they're complaining about not being able to accomplish, we've been successful at it for a long time, and JUCO coaches have been dealing with these problems for 50 years. So that always amazes me when I hear these D1 coaches talk about all their struggles, and we're like, that's an every year thing for JUCO players. So, you know, again, it's just a testament of what these guys do, and, you know, our players buying into the system, buying into the process, and again, what's special is them just becoming, you know, really good players. And we got told several times at the World Series, if you guys have never been, there's 1 million kids, they want your gloves, they want your hats, they want autographs, and, you know, we got told several times that our team was the best, you know, at responding and taking time to, you know, share with these kids too. And so that's the cool things to hear.
Good.
Trustee Cross? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you're fine, Madam Chair. That was it. Thank you.
This is your second national championship?
First national championship. We've been to the World Series 4 years in a row.
You played for national champion, though.
I won a national championship at the Division II level.
Central Missouri.
Yep, Central Missouri.
I don't know if that helps you with recruiting, but like, I always wonder why KU basketball gets these players, and it helps that there's a winner leading them. Dr. Vixen and I sat on the JOC conference meeting, and our sister schools, is it Coffeyville that got the ESPN thing years ago, Coffeyville football.
It was, yeah, one of, Independence, there you go.
Literally with our peer schools, sister JOC schools, and they're all pining for the attention and frankly jealous of what we got. And I just wanted to thank you because in my time here, and I love sports as I think you know, but it pains me that we cut track, tennis, golf, even the country clubbers and the poor kids that run track. My heart is in athletics, and I think it's part and parcel with academics. So I do thank you for, you know, what we invested in you doesn't compare to the time I think we get out of you. I know you put more time in than what we're paying you probably at a market rate. So I really want to thank you. I can't thank you enough, and congratulations.
Thank you for having us.
Anyone else? Trustee Jennings? Trustee Jennings. Trustee Rattan, my apologies.
It's a compliment if you think I'm trusting.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Thank you. She's cute. So I have a couple of college players, and the NIL has introduced, you know, a player can get money, and more importantly, the portal opened. And so I feel like community colleges, that almost elevated community colleges' role in college athletics. Can you talk about how the playing field has changed with the portal? Because I feel like kids coming straight from high school don't get a look from four-year schools because the four-year schools are just going to the portal to get everyone. So how has that impacted you, if at all?
The biggest impact that we've had is the Division I schools have all gone to a roster size of 34. So that's been the biggest thing for us, is because now KU, K-State, Arkansas, those schools can't take 60 guys anymore. So that means when they used to take 60, now they can only take 34. So that's 26 kids that should land to us first before they go to an Arkansas or a K-State or a KU. So that's probably the biggest difference. Of the NIL money, it's good for our kids because, I don't know, before NIL money came about, a good baseball scholarship at like a KU was 50%. I mean, if you got 50% offer at a KU, we were telling that guy to take that because that's an outstanding offer. Now with the NIL, I bet of our 20 kids, and Wally may know more about this, but I bet 18 to 19 are getting completely fulls. Plus, a lot of them are getting everything paid for, plus like anywhere from 20 to 50,000 on top. So it's great for our guys coming out because now they're getting their education paid for, plus some. Now, where that has also kind of affected us a little bit negatively is if a guy that goes to KU now is not paying anything, so when he comes in the portal or he drops down to us, it's going to cost us more money to get that kid, because usually if he was on 50% at KU, we could offer him a books, tuition, and fees scholarship, and they were tickled to death because we were paying for essentially everything but living. But now that they're getting so much money out there, and with us talking to all these portal guys, like they just want more and more and more. So you're essentially having to overpay for some of these guys, just because that's currently what the Division I world's doing, and it's kind of trickling down to us.
Definitely impacted all of college sports. Thank you.
No further comments from anyone? I just wanted to say a couple things, Coach. One of the things you talked about one-on-one after the ceremony was that you understood who we were, and it's a unique position, and we're a second chance institution for a lot of people. What really struck me was you can think we're a great community college that's above a lot of others, and we can pretend we're somebody we're not, but the way that you all went after kids that got redshirted, got cut, had benched pretty much a whole season, and made sure that they knew they could come here, and you would put them to work, they would get the baseball experience they wanted, and also they would get their studies in, and they would meet your expectation, really speaks to what a great, amazing employee and group of coaches you all are, because we're not for everyone, and we have to understand we're a 1 to 2 year place, and it's hard. It can be hard for staff and faculty at other places to understand that, but it's what makes us unique and makes us a launching pad for these kids that this year, of all the years, have incredible stories, but I know every year before that also have incredible stories because of what you all do. So I want to appreciate you, because I know that takes a lot of time to go in there and find those kids. You built relationships when in high school, they got pulled to a nicer, Division I school, and then you follow through and catch up and make sure you follow their stories, and if they aren't getting the chances they wanted, you recruit them back, which is exceptional, and has made this team exceptional. I think the other thing was I really enjoyed your ESPN interview, listened to it with my boys. My favorite little segment was, we were number one for most of the year. After like halfway through the season, it was like, man, there's no one close, right? And yet you're still having them have track days when they're getting a little chippy in the dugout, still invoking that discipline and those high standards so that they know, just because you're on top doesn't mean you get to just be whatever craziness you want to be. That discipline is so critical for life, whether they go on with baseball or not. And that is kudos to you and your leadership. So thank you so much, all three of you, for everything you do. I think absolutely the free advertising, I think we'll take every year you can provide it for us. So we appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time again. And I hope you get a vacation in before we start this all over again in August and July.
Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, with that, we're going to move to our next part of our agenda, which is our campus spotlight. And I believe we have Ms. Rhodes here to talk about fashion merchandising and design.
Yes, let's go from the #1 baseball team to the cool, stylish #1 fashion program.
That's right.
Yep, they will switch it.
Okay.
I want to thank, first of all, Caitlin, thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about what's been going on in our department. As most of you know, I'm Joy Rhodes. I'm the department chair of fashion design and merchandising here at the college. It's been about 6 months since I've been here, and I'm thrilled to be invited back. So, I want to start out in reflection. Make sure this is working. With our annual fashion show, The Final Draft. Took place last April, and we were very pleased to have many of you in the audience there to support us, despite the crazy weather and the tornado watch. We truly appreciate your support of both our programs and our students. It was a very well-received show, and we set the bar really high for next year. Speaking about next year, in this particular program, we've actually doubled the size of our enrollment for next year for this, yes. And we are currently in the process of creating a secondary construction lab, mini construction lab for our overflow. It's a great problem to have, but it is a problem nonetheless. So we've had a lot of fun the last several months trying to come up with creative solutions for accommodating all of those students. As you all know, space, faculty, and time are in high demand here, so could be a very large show next year. Stay tuned. Whoops. Why is it not going? Okay, so last time I was here, I talked about a little bit about a collaboration that we had in store for last semester. And it landed in my lap with Sporting KC, the local soccer team. This collaboration was born out of a marketing partnership that we have with them. We've had for many years, I guess. Deanna Belshi from our marketing communications department came to me to discuss ideas about how to maximize this relationship and facilitate student learning and involvement in the organization. In the beginning, it seemed like a little bit of a stretch. Full disclosure, I know nothing about soccer. So it was a learning experience for all of us. But after some creative brainstorming with the sporting executives and talking to them a little bit more, we were able to come up with some very relevant projects for our fashion merchandising and fashion merchandising capstone students to participate in. So one would not immediately think that soccer club would have any relevance to fashion, but the connections are actually plentiful and very real. I was a little nervous about presenting this to the students to begin with. Didn't know how it would be received, but it was met with great excitement and enthusiasm. So, whew. So how did we utilize this partnership to facilitate learning? So these are some pictures that we took at the venue. The ones on the left-hand side are the first match that we went to, and the ones on the right-hand side are from the second match. We were actually invited to 2 separate matches. We started our class project in March with the first match. The fashion merchandising and marketing capstone students acted as secret shoppers throughout the Sporting KC Stadium during a match. No previous experience, none of them had been there before, so blind. With several retail locations on site, the students evaluated customer experience, visual merchandising, and product strategy, giving them the opportunity to utilize and apply skills that they had gained in previous courses. The students worked in teams and observed and analyzed their experience based on several outlined criteria, and then they created professional presentations that they presented to the Sporting KC execs, what their findings were, and offered suggestions for improvement for the sporting facility. A little bold. Here you can see some of our students giving their presentations. We made the smart move to invite Susan McSpadden to our presentations, so we were able to capture these presentations. And yes, the student was reprimanded on having a bare midriff in her presentation. It's not very professional. But they did, the Sporting KC people actually gave them feedback, and they wrote notes and took a lot of their suggestions to heart. Okay. So after that, the students learned about the unique retail and merchandising challenges that the club faces, and were introduced to the world of branding and licensing. Having some experience in licensing myself in a previous life, this was kind of my favorite part of the whole experience. Sporting develops uniforms and fan-based products in collaboration with Adidas, Fanatics, and even our local Charlie Hustle. So the students got to see that side of the product development process. As a side note, there are many companies here in the KC metro area that develop licensed apparel products for many different markets. Some local companies, Unrivaled Apparel is a big one, formerly Gear for Sports, Design Resources, Inc., Staples, a big one, and of course, Charlie Hustle is one of the smaller ones. As I mentioned, this collaboration was born out of our marketing communications department, and I was thrilled to have them join us on this adventure. You can see right here, you may recognize Callie Woods from the communications department. She joined us both in the classroom and at the venue, documenting the whole experience for our JCCC social media. Her content planning and scripted video shoots were super fun to be a part of, and the students learned a lot from her, one of our local people. I want to play this video. It's our, whoops, I put.
Was invited here to the Temple University Park by Sporting KC for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at their stadium. Earlier, we attended a match. We did a secret shopping experience. It was so eye-opening to see just exactly how their retail space works inside their stadium. It was so much fun.
Throwback, The Wiz.
Stay tuned to learn what we discover in our secret shopping experience. And we may or may not be helping with an upcoming sporting merch launch. And now it's time for a behind-the-scenes stadium tour. Come along.
So you can see they had a lot of fun. So the project culminated, you heard them mention a product launch, right? So we were the second time we went to the stadium, we were there for the product launch on Kids Day. So it was a Snoopy branded launch, and we got to be a part of the marketing efforts on that. And we acted as models. So the marketing team from Sporting KC came to the college. We picked out site locations, and then you can see some of our students acted as models, including 2 of our male soccer players. Shout out to Jeff Cole for getting the word out there. And then these images were used in their marketing campaign on social media and marketing and throughout the stadium when the product was launched. So that was super fun. It's always great when you can have fun learning, and I'm really hoping that we can build on this experience going forward for the future. Might change a few things, learn a few things, but have some new ideas of things that could potentially be a lot of fun too, and relevant. Now, if we could only get them to start recruiting better players and start winning, that would be really great.
Glad you know that much. That's what's important to know right now.
Well, both games that we went to, they lost, so it's kind of sad. One last thing that I want to talk about, we have 2 study abroad groups this summer that are out there in Europe, right? Well, one group just came back from Paris, France, as a part of a history of fashion class. They were able to visit several different fashion historical related places in Paris after learning about it a whole semester in advance. And we also have several students that have been or are currently or will be going to FUA in Florence to take classes in fashion in Florence, and then those credit hours transfer back towards their degree plan here. Shout out to Dr. Mixa for taking them out to dinner.
Caught up with them. They were a great group. They were awesome.
It was so nice for them to have a familiar face in a foreign country.
I do think that, I mean, that's what was really important, you know, and I know when I've been abroad, like to have that familiar person come by, have the connections back to where you're at, you know, the students love being there, but it is also nice to go, oh, there is somebody that's thinking about me. So hopefully we can develop that as we move forward.
Yes, thank you so much. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions.
Questions on, okay, trustee Rattan.
You forgot one thing, that you had a student as the keynote speaker last night. Will you talk a little bit
Yes.
about that?
For those of you that were not here, yesterday was Sips and Scholarships, and the keynote speaker, Rachel, is one of our students, and she gave the keynote address. Love that kid.
Well, thanks for everything you do. Every time I go hang out with you, I have so much fun because I love clothes. But I love that your students are out and about doing the path less traveled with the sports collaboration abroad, speaking in front of hundreds of people. So thanks for your leadership. I really appreciate you.
All right, anyone else? Trustee Holden.
This was awesome. Thank you so much. I am a huge numbers guy, and you threw in a number, so I always have to ask a question when you throw in a number. So you said that you guys have doubled enrollment for the coming school year over what it was this past year?
For this one class, okay, it's the product development class that is where they begin their journey for creating content for the fashion show.
Okay, so it's doubled the capacity of this one class?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the past, we've maxed at 12 because one person can't handle more than 12. We have 22. And we've had to we have 2 sections now. So we'll have a very large show.
Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Trustee Jennings.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to say, you started your presentation by saying, we had this opportunity, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know I didn't know anything about sport in case, that wasn't your deal. And yet, your creativity as an artist showed that you made it shine. And,
thank
and
you.
your students did too, so thank you for that. And what an awesome opportunity and collaboration with Sporting KC. Dr. Mixa was telling me in our meeting just all of the things that we are collaborating on. That's exciting.
Well, it's real world, and very relevant. So it was. Well, I know nothing about soccer. I do now. Soccer's all around us now.
Yep. So thank you for everything you're doing. This is amazing.
Else? Trustee Carroll.
One, I love the fashion show. We were able to make it out with all the crazy weather, so I'm very excited for next year's. I do have a question in regards to, did you open up enrollment for this class and allow that, or what caused this double
Good
enrollment?
question. By the time students get to that point in our program, we pretty much know them all very well. And we were getting ready to open up enrollment for fall semester, and I had people coming to me saying, "Well, I'm enrolling in this. I need to get it first in line to get in, get my enrollment." And I'm like, holy cow, so the list was starting to get longer than 12, and I'm like, oh boy. So we did a broadcast out. We have a community site. We broadcast out and said, like kind of a questionnaire, a survey. Are you planning to enroll in these 3 classes? And what is your plan? And we got back, actually we had 29 people come back and say that they were planning to enroll in product development so they could do the show next year. And so we kind of did a little surveying before ahead of time. So that way, when enrollment hit, we knew to open 2 classes. But yeah, we know our students pretty well by that time. It's filtered out, down to the ones that are going to complete.
Problem to have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? All right, Dr. Mixa, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, those bottom 2 pictures down there were a great example of another real-world experience. And when I got there and I went on a tour of FAU, the one with the green sort of paddle down there is a store. It's a secondhand store. I'm going to call it secondhand. I think they had like Gucci and all that stuff.
The resale store.
Better way to say it. Sorry about that. Deb would kill me. I just said that. So it's a resale store. But what I loved is that the students got the experience to kind of work that store a little bit. And then in the back there on the next one, students, the day that I was there, I got to walk in, see them actually working on some of their clothes that they were designing for their class, and some of those clothes end up on the floor there to be sold. So it's just a really cool, total experience from beginning to end, I thought. So it was really neat, so.
Yeah. Fly is the name of the boutique.
That's right. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Joy. Your program is, I think we have another cheerleader here at the college who loves your program as well, with Joy Ginsburg and the foundation, and she's really brought what you all do to our community in a lot of different ways, and I appreciate her bringing that spotlight. But getting to go to the fashion show this year was a highlight. It was delightful. And, as far as the collaboration with sporting, I think it's really interesting because in the K-12 world, companies are starting to do this really targeted work with juniors and seniors where they are asking them to do very similar things. I work for Olathe currently, and I was at a board meeting, and I don't remember all of them, but the company I do remember them having a partnership with, where a group of students was presenting similar experience, was Arby's. And Arby's intention by doing that partnership was how to get young people to come to Arby's. And so I think when you think about the benefit for a company or an organization like sporting is how do you get young interest, but also how do our students then get to acquire skills like knowing what to wear in a professional presentation is a skill, and I'm glad they got to learn it here with us than at a first job where it may be a higher risk, But being able to have those presentation skills, collaboration skills, and then being able to talk with professionals and understand what that real world application is. Offline, you and I can talk because I go to more sporting games than I care to. I've been drug into the soccer world by one of my children, and I don't necessarily, as a woman, find much there that I would purchase.
Oh, good to know.
And I feel like they have a lot to grow. So I hope you continue the partnership, and you all give them that feedback that maybe the non-sport person should provide to a place that kind of thinks in their silos.
Oh, I
which is
think it was eye-opening
really
for
cool.
sporting.
Good,
Sure.
good. I'm really glad to hear that. So thank you for just illuminating what you do, your program, and the great experiences our students get. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for your support.
All right, with that lovely start to our meeting this evening, we're going to move right into our open forum. The open forum section of the board agenda is a time for members of the community to provide comments to the board. There will be one open forum period during each regularly scheduled board meeting. Comments are limited to 5 minutes unless a significant number of people plan to speak. In that instance, the chair may limit a person's comments to less than 5 minutes. In order to be recognized, individuals must register at the door 15 minutes prior to each regularly scheduled board meeting. When addressing the board, registered speakers are asked to remain at the podium, should be respectful and civil, and are encouraged to address individual personnel or student matters directly with the appropriate college department. As a practice, the college does not respond in this setting when the matters concern personnel or student issues or matters that are being addressed through our established grievance or suggestion processes, or otherwise are the subject of review by the college board. There is one registered speaker tonight. You'll be called to the podium in order of registration, which there's only one, so that makes it easy. And I believe that we have Maggie Stanton. Ms. Stanton, if you could come to the podium and state your general address, and then proceed with your comments.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Stanton. I am a lifelong Johnson County resident, a former JCCC student, and current JCCC employee. I'm also an avid voter and support opportunities that make voting accessible to everyone. With that in mind, I wanted to echo my support for the statement made by the JCCC Faculty Association regarding the sudden closure of the Midwest Trust Center as an advanced voting location for the August primary. I, too, wish for the site to be reinstated. It was used by students, faculty, staff, community members, and myself. The Kansas ACLU reported that 8,041 voters used this site as an advanced voting location in the 2024 general election. The next closest early voting location was previously at Oak Park Library. Both locations have been removed. The benefits of having an advanced voting location in our college are innumerable, but because I only have 5 minutes, I will be brief. Our stated mission, JCCC inspires learning to transform lives and strengthen communities, begins with encouraging students to be civically engaged. The best and easiest way to do so is by making voting accessible where they already are. Early voting does not begin for another month, so it is not too late to request that this advanced voting location be reinstated. And I invite the board to join the JCCC Faculty Association, releasing a statement requesting that this crucial voting location be reinstated. I hope I have your support on this, and please let me know how I can help you in this process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, we are going to move on to the next part of our board meeting. The first top of the agenda is the Shared Governance Report by Caitlin Krumsick.
Good evening, Caitlin Krumsick. I am the director of the Academic Achievement Center. So June is the end of our year in Staff Council and College Council. So that's both an exciting time welcoming new folks to the team and a time to say thank you to the folks who are rolling off after finishing their terms. In Staff Council, there were 7 positions up for election this year. Jerry Droege from Campus Services and Ann Turney from Student Services and Learner Engagement were reelected to their positions, and we're very happy to have them in their continued experience and perspective on the council. I'm also excited to announce that there have been 5 new folks that will be joining us for the upcoming year. Mark Barbosa from IT, Callie Woods from Marketing, Farhan Sathik from Student Services and Success, Jason Brunkin as our full-time at-large representative, and Caleb Alexander as our part-time representative. Many thanks also to Christina Seitzinger, Aaron Hertel, James Drone, Karen Kohler, and Michelle Bolin, who finish off their Staff Council terms next week. In celebration of both our incoming folks and our outgoing folks, Staff Council is hosting an ice cream social next Tuesday, June 23rd at 3 p.m. This event is open to all staff, and more details can be found on InfoHub. It went out today, and I think it'll go out next week as well. Over in College Council, I will continue to be the co-chair for the next academic year. I also want to thank Rachel Lears, Ann Turney, Christina Seitzinger, and Jamie Cunningham for their service in the last year. And that is all I have for you today. Are there any questions?
Questions from the board? All right, I don't see any. Thank you very much for your report. All right, we're going to move on to our Faculty Association presentation by Dr. Oliveris.
Good evening. It's always surprising that people actually follow our social media platforms. Okay, so the Faculty Association would like to add our congratulations to the men's baseball team. I had the opportunity to be at the celebration on June 1st, and one of the things that the coaches, or one of the students, the players said, we won simply because our team was having the most fun. And I thought that really stuck to me. So again, congratulations to them. On June 5th, several FA members attended the Stu Schaefer Open Pedal Farm. I saw Rachel Lears there. There were, I would say, 50 plus people there, I think. Stu Schaefer was a former sociology professor, founder of the Sustainable Agricultural Program at JCCC, and the Open Pedal Farm was renamed in his honor. Several community members, employees spoke about the Stu's contributions to sustainable agriculture, not just on campus, but in the community and in the state at large. So it was very lovely to hear speakers, and of course, family members also spoke in his honor. Last Wednesday afternoon, I received news that the CAO, Dr. Gurbachan Singh, will be launching a pilot program for the next year. In this pilot program, a college employee, it's unclear if it will be faculty or staff, will serve in a division program coordinator role to supplement or perhaps eventually replace faculty chair roles. The pilot program was announced on May 27th after 9-month faculty had gone off contract and the shared governance body, the Academic Branch Council, had stopped meeting for the summer. Many chairs have asked questions about this pilot program and how the efficacy of the program can be accurately measured while faculty members continue to carry out work as faculty chairs alongside this program coordinator role. Several faculty members have also asked if this pilot program is the first step in a return to the assistant dean model that was eliminated several years ago precisely because the model was not working. Dr. Singh has provided several answers to these questions, which is a very good start. But this pilot program was announced during the summer, and therefore conversations did not take place in ABC, as I mentioned earlier. And this is the shared governance body that is supposed to be having these discussions that affect the academic branch at large. Additionally, this pilot was announced to chairs and deans only, and this change affects all full-time faculty and adjuncts in other areas on campus that work directly with these faculty chairs, not to mention our students. Our students beyond our admissions staff, our counselors, faculty chairs and deans are the next level that they are most directly impacted by, and this pilot program will affect faculty chairs and deans. This change is likely going to cause confusion as 9-month faculty return to campus in the fall, and they've made these concerns known to me, and I'm making these concerns known to you. I don't want to end on a negative note, so I would want to congratulate Dr. Mixa for an early birthday. I was talking to Delaney yesterday, and she spilled the beans, so sorry about that.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Dr. Oliveras?
Keep us posted on all that. Thank you.
I would like to ask a question, if it doesn't put you on the spot, and I don't know if we have the right people here to answer. How many faculty are affected by the pilot program?
So,
I don't know if Dr. Singh knows that. Or.
I mean, I'll just give a little background. So the department chairs approached me in April. And I know I think for about 8 years, they've been working on the department chair process. And they approached me in April. I had a meeting with them. They talked to me about it a little bit. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I asked for a little bit more information. I had a second meeting with the department chairs. They gave me some more information as well on some of their proposals that they've been working on over this 8-year period. Then after that, there was one of the math faculty members has done a model on the department chair, so I sat down with Rob and we talked a lot about the model. And then I sat down with Mickey and Gerb and I said, hey, we got to kind of figure out a way to do this. Maybe we can get some dollars to get this thing started. And then we can kind of figure out a way to move forward. We met again with the department chairs and then we just said, okay, well, maybe we can kind of talk a little bit over the summer. I mean, I think our point was maybe have something to help out some of those chairs that thought that they were a little bit overwhelmed with the work, and then we can figure out a model after that as well, too. So
Is it a pilot?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pilot. We're just trying to figure out a way to help the department chairs while we continue to work on this process that's been there. I know that the department chairs, they have a report out at ABC, right, or not?
Concluded its meetings in April.
No, but I mean, over this 8 years, they have a report out, so I assumed that they were talking. I mean, they came to me and asked for some help, and Gerb and I sat down with them and thought we could help out a little bit.
Well, and I don't want to put you on the spot. My question was just how many faculty are being affected by the pilot that we're going to do? Because a pilot in itself, by nature, is supposed to be short-term, a limited amount of people. So I just wondered how many people are being affected by this.
Yeah, I mean, however we decide to do this, they would be helping out the chairs, and the chairs serve all the faculty, so they would be providing assistance to the chairs, so.
Are you asking about which departments in the whole line?
No, I'm just asking how many individual chairs do you anticipate being affected by this, Dr. Singh? Yeah, please, that'd be great. Just to err on the side of transparency and make sure that we have a full picture.
Okay, so my name is Gurbashan Singh, Chief Academic Officer here at
Are well-trained by
Johnson County.
Fair Musel, thank you.
So for the online viewers right now. So we have 40-plus chairs currently in place. So we're talking to all of them right now. I have met, they have a subgroup that I met with one time, and now we have another meeting coming up on the 30th, and we're communicating via emails too, and they had a bunch of questions that they sent me, and I answered those. So this pilot, so what happened is, so we're going to work on, like Dr. Mixa said, so for the last 80 years, so as soon as we put the current chair model in place, we had heard from faculty that it's not equitable, that it's not compensating the CTE folks just as the gen ed folks, because CTE folks believe that they have more work to do, but they're not being compensated. So we asked them to come back with a plan that would work for both sides. So they've been out there for 80 years and don't have a plan. So then they went and talked to Dr. Mixa. I think you guys had 3 meetings, and then Dr. Mixa brought him back to me and said, okay, work with them. So right now I'm working with the subgroup. So during our first meeting, we gave them additional about $15,000 for compensation, so they can compensate the CTE chairs who have extra work. So that work group decided who those recipients are. So then we also decided on a timeline, which is, so by September 30th, the work group and I are going to, when I say me, it's me, Sheila Maupin, and whoever else from that 40-plus chairs group wants to meet with us. We're going to try to come up with a plan or a better model that would help us long run. So while that is happening, what I asked them was at the time is that, so just like we have not been able to come up with a plan or a better model that satisfy all of our faculty or chairs, but the college can't rely on that, or we cannot have a model in place that doesn't work for us. So we got to also, so administration also need to think about maybe a different model that would work for us. So that's where the pilot comes in place. So while we do that pilot, I don't know how we're going to do that right now, because we have IDC retreat coming up here in July, and that's where I'm going to talk to the deans a little bit more about it. So once we know that, I will share that with the current chairs. They all know that we're doing this. But it's not going to impact them compensation-wise. We're still going to compensate all the chairs while we do this pilot. The only reason we're doing the pilot is to see if there's a better model that we can put in place, and also how can we get that, because the other technicality in this is that the chairs it's not a mandatory assignment. It's optional. So if the faculty didn't want to, let's say somebody felt that they're not being compensated and it's too much work, they can at any time resign from their position. So that really leaves the deans in a bad situation, because either then they're going to have to do that work or find somebody else to. So hopefully this pilot will give us some strengths and weaknesses of a different model that maybe we can put in place if we didn't have the chair model. But our focus first is to fix the current chair model so we can just continue on with that.
So my follow-up question to that is, what is the nature of it being a pilot? What is the parameter that makes it a pilot? Is it the amount of time you're going to give it a go? Is it an opt-in where chairs that want to try a different model get to do this and other chairs can continue doing the traditional way? Or what's the pilot parameters?
So the pilot would be, maybe a semester or 2 long.
Okay.
Because if we find a staff person to do this, let's say then the staff person is not that familiar with the programs or the areas of study here. So it might take them a month or 2 to learn more about it. But if we find a faculty person, then they're already familiar with, they may not be, let's say that person is from automotive. They may not know a lot about education or history, but at least they are educators, so they can learn it probably faster. So then the idea would be to put them in that chair role, but like a super chair or a program coordinator or division coordinator, you can call it whatever you want. So that person then would be working with the deans and the faculty to maybe work on the program review with them, maybe work on recruiting more students, so maybe work on hosting advisory committee meetings, maybe work on building schedules for next semester and the semester after, so things like that. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Can there be somebody else other than a chair who can do that work?
And we're gonna, and the part that makes it a pilot is it's gonna be a limited amount of time. We're gonna try something new.
We're just going to try to do it for a semester or two to see, just to learn some of the strengths and weaknesses of it.
Okay.
But if the current chair model is fixed, like for the long run, and all the current chairs and faculty agree that this is something that they can work with or live with, or it is satisfactory, then we don't have to do the pilot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say any trustees, but I think I'll start with trustee Cross and then trustee Jennings. Go ahead, trustee Cross.
Chair, thank you for your questions. I appreciate it. So this is truly a pilot where we're going to try it and take input in a due process manner so people have an opportunity to be heard. It's not simply a Mickey McLeod precursor to what we're going to do.
No, it is truly a pilot, so we can learn, like I said, what are the weaknesses, what are the strengths, while we keep the current chair model in place. So nobody is being terminated or let go. We're just doing this on the side, just so we can learn, just in case. Let's say next academic year, half of our current faculty chairs don't want to be chairs anymore because they're not being compensated. By the way, we're spending $1.43 million on this chair model. So during my last conversation with them, I had told them, I said, it's not a, we can't just keep throwing money at it to fix it. We need to find a different way of doing it. So that's kind of what we're trying. Yeah.
Just a brief
Yeah,
follow-up, Madam
please.
Chair. It's your good fortune that I'm trained to see, or I make my money because I see all sides of a situation. I've spent hours of my life listening to people complain about the chair situation. You have my sympathy, sir. I appreciate the manner you've answered our questions and answered our questions, and it hasn't escaped my attention that you're the one here answering them. With that said, I appreciate that it sounds like you're working to govern in a collegial nature and in a shared governance manner, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to weigh in on that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Trustee Jennings.
May I address that, just final clarification? So some of us may not agree with that because ABC, Academic Branch Council, is not meeting right now, so the shared governance isn't occurring, but I would assure you that it is occurring. I'm engaging with the deans and all the chairs currently via emails and via meetings, and sharing all the information with everybody and listening to them, collaborating. So that shared governance is occurring. Please, and we'll make sure that it continues on.
No real indication, Madam Chair, if I may, that it isn't occurring. I'm commending you in the manner in which you've answered these questions and in which I think you're going to proceed.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I just wanted, so the opt-in or opt-out, or does it affect all 40 chairs as part of the pilot?
So right now, well, I have not talked to the deans. Well, we talked about it in IDC, but we have not talked about who might that one person be to serve in that role, or which division we would do it in. Those are some of the things that we'll sort out in a retreat, which is in July. And then once we know a little bit more about it, then we'll share with the rest of the chairs. But the 40 plus, it won't be one of the 40 plus chairs. It'll be probably somebody else. But those chairs will stay in their current roles and be compensated while we're doing it. Was that your question? I feel like I didn't answer it all the way.
When I think of a pilot, oftentimes I think that we're going to start small, and if it's working well, then we grow it.
Right.
But I'm hearing that the pilot is going to be 1 or 2 semesters, but it will affect the whole, all the chairs as part of that pilot. Is that correct?
So all the chairs basically do the same job functions. So the pilot is going to be in one division only. We have 8 divisions.
Okay,
So we're
thank
not
you.
going to
You
do
just
it
answered my
college-wide, it'll
question.
just be-
Thanks.
Part we're trying to get clarification on. All right, trustee Rattan.
What is the chair's job function you just mentioned?
So last semester, entire semester, we spent on redefining some of the chair job functions. So some of the chair job functions, like I mentioned earlier, are recruiting, working with the deans on budgets, doing the program review, working on faculty hiring, adjunct hiring, some training, professional development, hosting advisory committees, buying or participating in buying new equipment, growing the program, things like that. Yeah, there's a long list. I can email it to you.
And so when I think about what you're doing, I don't think you had bad intentions. I think your intentions are right, and people came to you to ask for assistance in solving what sounds like a long-term problem. But this is organizational change. And anytime you're doing organizational change, whether it's for good intentions or any intentions, it freaks people out because they wonder how does it change my life, right? So my thought is, I was happy to hear that you are communicating. Don't wait until it's done and it's wrapped up and at the end of this pilot you communicate out. I think you need to think about in the sense of over-communicating, communicating in process, even as you started this endeavor, to say, hey, heads up to whoever the stakeholders are. Because when you say how many people are affected, what I thought was the whole line of people. If you choose the math department, when you say how many people are affected, you're affecting the faculty in that department, you're affecting those students and how the organization gets its work done. So really, even if you choose 2 departments, you could be affecting hundreds of people.
Sure.
So the way I just say is over-communicate so that you don't have to go back and do the rework of saying, hey, we had good intentions, we were asked to do it. Because again, organizational change, if something's been in place for 8 years, it affects a lot of people.
Yes, and with that in mind, that is why I mentioned that September 30th date earlier. So anything that we decide on moving forward, it will not be implemented for another academic year. So that would give us a whole year to communicate. Well, I mean, we're going to be communicating while we're doing it, but it will also give us another whole academic year before we implement, so we can have everybody on board.
I think you have good intentions and continuous improvement, but just understand lots of people are affected than just the 40 deans.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Any other questions? I just wanted to say, my questions were really for clarity, and it sounds like you're not in a place of clarity yet because you're in process, right, of doing this. And from this seat, this individual trustee has heard about the chairmanship problem since she was running for this office 7 years ago. I've been serving for 6 and heard about it. So it has been wrought with problems. And like you said, we cannot continue to throwing money at it. We can't continue to just add hours because hours equal funds. And we have a lot we're trying to do at this college. And at some point, we have to recognize that we have limited ability to do that. We have to be really careful with how we choose what we do with our money. I would echo what Trustee Rattan said in that I think that the most important thing is the over-communication and the pilot, the parameters of what make it a pilot. Because as I've talked to Dr. Mixa about, I'm all about, one of the great phrases he used when he was interviewing for this job is he's okay riding the lightning sometimes. Because sometimes we got to make some changes, right? And sometimes we got to do things that are different. And if we've heard for 8 years that this isn't working, we've got to do something different. But the disruption that comes with, hey, we're just doing it, versus over-communicating and understanding that the nature of the pilot is to learn and that it will set us up for what's the next step that may become permanent is, I think, the critical factor. We at this campus have got to be comfortable with trying new things and doing things we haven't done before, but being committed to learning from them. And if they are not working and they're not moving us forward, then we're going to go back, do what we've been doing, and try again. But it does us no good to keep doing the same thing that is not working, as well as saying no, any new options are not a viable option. And I just wanted to say that from this seat, because I think those of us on this board have heard from many faculty in many different ways, and I know that there are groups that embrace change easier than others, and there are groups that don't want change, and the amount of change we've had since COVID means that we've got to do things differently, because the responsibilities we've asked our faculty and staff to carry since COVID have changed. And so we've got to adapt our chair model to better meet the needs of all chairs, not just some chairs. So I wanted to echo that in support of you and in support of Dr. Mixa, and the fact that you were, this whole thing came from people coming to you
Right.
for help. And it wasn't because you're like, hey, it's April, let's do a new thing. It was because a group came to you and you're being proactive about that.
I mean, it wasn't my intent. Like, my intent was.
Of course,
like,
and
yes,
I don't want anybody to leave the impression that, in terms of the chairman, I am not trying to say that I think there's something amiss here or intentions are in any way ill intentions. So, but clarity, over communicating. And probably that won't be enough for everyone either, but we can use that as our backup to say, but we communicated, and this is what we're going to try. So thank you for coming to the podium and speaking off the cuff as I asked those questions that you were not prepared for. I apologize for doing that to you.
No, thank you. We appreciate your support. So, yeah.
Dr. Oliveras, does anybody have any questions for Dr. Oliveras, whose presentation this was? I don't want to call her back up if we don't, but I'm happy to do that if anybody hasn't. Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you very much for that board report, and we're going to move on to the the Johnson County Education Research Triangle with Trustee Rattan.
Thank you, Chair. JCERT received $2,300,931.95 in sales tax in May of 2026. This was a good month and an increase of $310,000 from last month and slightly higher than this time last year. $760,000 was distributed to each of the 3 universities, and transfers were made on June 3rd, 2026, and that completes my report.
All right, any questions for Trustee Rattan? Hearing none, we're going to move on to the Kansas Association of Community Colleges Board Report from Trustee Cross.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm looking at a report from Heather Morgan as to when we met. I know it interrupted my ability to watch the KU Super Regional Leagues. We met in person June 7th and 8th at Allen County Community College and Neosho County Community College. All colleges were represented. There was a federal update by Executive Director Heather Morgan provided in an update on federal policy changes related to the gainful employment and workforce Pell initiatives. The state update was also provided by Ms. Morgan, provided an update on rural health transformation funds coming to Kansas, as well as K-12 funding task force and its potential intersection with the Kansas Community College funding. Allen County Community College provided a comprehensive overview of their institution, followed by a facilitated discussion on future policy initiatives, including the impacting the sector, Each table engaged in discussion regarding governance and funding challenges. I will say on that point, at our table, Dr. Mix and I were strategically at different tables, mostly because he was tired of me. There's a near consensus that, and I don't know that I agree, but that we need to be proactive, not reactive, in terms of changes that are coming to the community college world and the funding that we receive. Specifically, there's a movement and apparently a growing initiative for performance-based funding in response to legislative and KBOR interest, mostly because they're all chasing money. KU has $750 million in deferred maintenance, according to certain sources. So they build a new stadium. I'm a KU alumni. I have season tickets to KU football, but they build a new stadium, they have a convention center, and they're just almost $1 billion down in deferred maintenance. K-State, it's my understanding, is similar numbers, and all these schools are looking for money and revenue anywhere they can find it. I can't stress that or belabor it enough because it dominates the meetings that were informally, the informal meetings that we're having socially at night, and then breakfast, and then it just, we're in a very good position, as you all could imagine, but our sister schools are literally so very dependent upon state aid. Statewide candidate presentations, candidates for governor were there, I believe it was Vicki Schmidt, and then Cindy Holscher were there. KCC welcomes any additional statewide candidates to present at future meetings if they have not yet done so. I know Senator Corson presented, I believe, last quarter. Lightcast EMSI Economic Impact Study. The group received an update on conducting both individual and college system-wide economic impact studies through EMSI. The last study was completed in 2023. The group later voted to conduct the study again this year. The cost will remain approximately $11,000. Anyway, that's in the weeds. I've also forwarded this to Trustee Smith Everett, Trustee Holton, along with Caitlin and Dr. Mixa, so you can have the whole thing. I wanted to highlight certain things. There's a lot here that's sort of in the weeds, but you can go into it if you want. There was an update on the Kansas Blueprint for Literacy Report. We had a JAG-K presentation. Bev Mortimer from JAG-K presented on their model implemented in Kansas and middle and high schools. She highlighted 2 credentials offered to students that may be eligible for credit for prior learning. Brandon Gaum from Cloud County Community College shared that Cloud had aligned the learning outcomes of these credentials with two system-wide transfer courses, interpersonal communications and personal finance. The group also discussed opportunities for Kansas community colleges to become preferred institutions for the JAG-K students. And my memory of that presentation, Dr. Mixa, was that it was dealing with at-risk students and what we can do to market our schools and be a part of their lives, really beginning in middle school. I turned to Dr. Mixa and I said, "Are we doing that?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're doing it."
Yes, we hosted a JAG event on our campus, and then I had talked to Mickey and Gerb a little bit. We have had some discussion around, because they were talking about how to accept possible credits from that JAG group, like if they did X, Y, and Z, what would that map to something on our campus? So there has been a little bit of discussion around that. We have more to do with that as well, too. So that would kind of cross over in that area, also in Elisa's area a little bit, because it's kind of that credit for, that kind of alternate credit path, so, yeah.
And as many of you know, both of my parents are from Kansas, rural Kansas counties, although my dad was born in Gardner. But there really are heartbreaking stories of the poverty and the challenges that people face in rural areas. I challenge our fellow members of KCCT that in a county of 640,000, that on the I-35 corridor alone, we have people who have crushing poverty and other issues that need addressed here. So I see all this really in coalition, not competition with them, and that we should all be exploring these options and policies together, which is groundwork for other things I'll get to in a moment. Legal services option, there was a presentation by a law firm. We have in-house counsel and resources to hire counsel. It wasn't really relevant to us. With respect to the business meeting highlights, we approved financials and meeting minutes. There was an approved shift in a future KCC format following the August meeting at Barton from Sunday, Monday to Thursday, Friday, based on member fee. We're going back to Thursday, Friday.
I guess.
The Sunday, Monday thing was, direct violation of the Bible. That's just my personal preference, but anyway. We approved the fiscal year 2027 budget, including the addition of an administrative fee for Colby to employ the executive director and a reduction in marketing funds to accommodate this change within the existing. It's because they're managing what were they managing? They're managing.
Yeah, it's like like in a grant, there's an administration fee so that Colby's charging an
They're
administration.
charging 15%, Seth Carter.
Yes.
It's crazy who watches this, so I just want to give shout outs here. He's quite proud of that. We noted the marketing functions, newsletter, social media website will be supported by a JCCC staff member at no additional cost. Is that the Jayhawk guy?
Yeah, the Jayhawk. There's 2 people in the Jayhawk conference, and this is a person that they thought that had some capacity.
There was such drama at the Jayhawk conference meeting, I don't mind saying, and the jealousy over Coffeyville and the attention that we got and the earnest and desire for our other schools to be recognized for what they do. They take their sports quite seriously. You all know I do, so I'm not throwing any stones. I'm just briefing you what you're a part of, what you help pay for in the Jayhawk conference. Perhaps most importantly, we discussed proposed bylaw amendments to allow Salina Technical College and Manhattan Technical College to join KACC due to notice requirements. An electronic vote will be conducted with the June 26th deadline. As of now, I need to review everything. I think for some strategic reasons, and with Heather Morgan listening to this, I'm probably going to vote against it for reasons that we can talk to Heather about. But frankly, Dr. Mixa and I had some concerns about other policies that were being done, and notably it was with respect to dual enrollment. Dr. Mixa? Mm-hmm. We have some 4,000 students impacted by policy choices of KACC over the last.
Yeah, we have about 4,000 dual enrollment students. There's, between 1,500 to 1,000 students that could be, or 2,000 students could be impacted. So that's what we're going to work on through. And when we talk about the bylaws, just there are some changes that once our in-house attorneys took a look at, they thought that might be a problem. So Heather's coming in June, myself and Mickey and Dick Carter and Kate will sit down and meet. And hopefully we can kind of work through some of those things and talk about those bylaw changes in August when we go there.
And truthfully, I may sit on this board until the people of Johnson County kick me out, but if anybody serves on KACC after me, I do want to belabor that Salina Technical College and Manhattan Technical College are in two different cities in which K-State has campuses. There was some indigestion about welcoming Salina Tech and Manhattan Technical College into the Kansas Association of Community Colleges. So it was something of a rift and an event, in my opinion, that these technical schools want to be a part of our association. I'm generally for that. I can't remember, I think I supported a motion that if you had a Regents affiliation, I really didn't want you in the KACC. Mostly because of, I'll just say it, the lack of trust with Wichita or K-State in which they've operated, and the manner in which they've gobbled up schools, and other schools are looking to take over other community colleges and absorb their resources and frankly revenue. So it appears that Salina and Manhattan Technical Colleges are looking for alliances to survive independent of K-State. And I'm generally okay with it. I think we just need to be heard on some other concerns that we have, quite frankly. This will probably pass. And Dr. Mix and I were very well welcome. So I just wanted to make that clear, even if we have some disagreements to it. So I want to put that on your radar. We approved the fiscal year 2027 dues, which we pay. Maintaining the existing structure with the adjustments based on each institution's fiscal year 2025 FTE. We did note that the dues invoices will be distributed. Okay, that'll be distributed. We approved the engagement agreement to work with St. Gordon, KCC's longtime accounting firm. Upcoming meetings, we'll meet August 2nd through 3rd, 2026 at Barton County Community College in Great Bend, Kansas. And then December 3rd through the 4th, 2026, we'll meet at Colby, up on the High Plains. That's a location change. I will say that there is an apparent and growing movement that there be a statewide mill levy or some change to the current system in which we fund the county colleges. Rather than doing the progressive or equitable manner of revising our current income tax. And I will note that the governor's office wasn't too happy with me speaking out about the cut to food tax. And I get that it's fair and better for people of lower income and means, but in Kansas where we don't have mountains and we don't have beaches and we don't have oil and gas to pull from the ground and charge severance taxes, we got to get the money somewhere. So I want all of you to be aware that there is a growing movement that there be a statewide mill levy. I do think it would make some sense, and I know one person who thinks that the service areas should probably just pay for the schools in which they serve. And I think that idea actually makes a lot of sense. So there needs to be some equitable means in which schools and areas that are utilizing these institutions pay for them. I think that is fair. And I am a redistributionist, and so I think some means of helping these schools survive makes sense. And there may be an inordinate number of schools, in all candor or balance in the analysis. I think it's great. I'd rather teach people to do for themselves and grow a tax base and have the economic opportunity from an educated citizenry than let some of these schools die. And some of them are about to die. One school recently in the last 5 years has had a difficult time making payroll. Many others are close. And I've stayed on this board and in this role and have the privilege to do so because I see us as leaders in higher ed. I mean, Dr. McLeod alone, in the dealings he has with KU and KBOR, has done a lot and helped us stay alive and stay relevant and maintain our reputation. And along with each of the presidents we've served with, and then this board and the money we appropriate and the attention we have to pay. So I really didn't mean to take so much time, but you send me there, I'm happy to serve. There's I think a good deal of trust, and when we speak, we're listened to at KCCC. And that'll conclude my report, Madam Chair. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Trustee Cross? Start with you, Dr. Or, I don't know why I'm calling everybody doctor today.
It's okay.
Everybody's just going to be a doctor, honorary.
Say that next.
Trustee Holton.
Thank you. When did you say that next meeting is?
August 2nd through the 3rd.
Oh, they said 22nd, okay.
Barton, 2 through 3.
Okay. Thank you. That's it?
Greg, Trustee Mitchell.
No, I was going to call you Musil.
Dr. Mitchell?
I know, yeah, well, I was going for Musil, which was not right. I couldn't get it right. I'm a mess today. Trustee Mitchell.
So in his report, Lee mentioned the EMSI Economic Impact Study. And I know that about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, Caitlin sent out an economic impact study that was conducted, I think in 2013, or 2023 rather. It was specifically for Johnson County Community College, but I'm just kind of curious. It's not horribly important. Was this product of that initiative by?
So they did it, and they do individualize it for us, correct? So I text John during the meeting, are we doing this with them, or are we doing it on our own? Because I know we talked about it, but we would do it with them and get an individualized, and so we get that. So this will probably be the next one.
Their work product, okay.
Right. So it's a good, it's a firm, all doing it together. This is where we probably get a discount, better price, so it's a positive for us.
It's a good product.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was.
All right, any other questions? Trustee Cross? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the foundation report with Trustee Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start this report with the first two words that are always in this report. Exciting news. Exciting news for Harvest Dinner. Tickets and tables went on sale last week, and we are already 55% to sell out, and that was as of Tuesday. So that number probably has changed a little bit. The event will be Friday, August 21st. With visiting chefs from the Leawood Restaurant Rye. Chef Colby Geraltz won the 2013 James Beard Award for Best Chef Midwest and was 2005 Food and Wine to 10 Best Chef. If you are interested, get your tickets before they sell out. They're hot, go now. Summer Sips and Scholarships was Wednesday, June 17th. I think I may have been one of 3 people of the male persuasion who's in attendance. It was at the Wiley Hospitality and Culinary Academy, and the co-chairs were Christy Stewart and Christy Heller. Hawthorne Bank agreed to underwrite the event for a second year in a row, which means that 100% of the funds raised by attendees will support student scholarships. We hope to have raised $30,000 to fund 30 students. Our student speaker was Rachel Hudson, who Trustee Rattan mentioned earlier, and she told her story about the impact of the scholarships, and it was really almost kind of a tearjerker, as these things usually are. Some Enchanted Evening 2026 will be November 14th, 2026. Co-chairs are Dr. Tony Mixa and Deb Mixa. It is the 40th anniversary of the event. We are already 88% of our income goal, and more than 50-plus tables have been sold. Please reach out to Joy Ginsburg or Jamie Cochran if you or anyone you know is interested in being an event sponsor. 4 of JCCC Foundation staff attended the Kansas Advancement Professional Conference in early June at Wichita State Tech. It was a great opportunity to get together with all of the other community college foundations across the state to learn, share, and network. And that completes the report.
All right, any questions for trustee Mitchell?
Are you reading the management committee?
I am.
Great. Thank you.
Seeing none, we're going to move on to the committee reports and recommendations, and I hope everyone is buckled up and ready because we've got more than 16 recommendations to plow through, and we are going to do them at lightning speed so we still get to see our families tonight. All right, we're going to begin with the Employee Engagement and Development Committee report from Trustee Cross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Employee Engagement and Developing Committee met June 3rd, 2026. Under HR 3, Monitor Compensation Planning, Ms. Barbara Cooper presented the administration's recommendation to increase staff salaries by 4.5% for fiscal year 27, effective July 1, 2026. The recommendation from the Employee Engagement and Development Committee is as follows. It is the recommendation of the Employee Engagement and Development Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration, for we did not come up with that on our own, to authorize, effective July 1, 2026, a 4.5% salary increase for all non-bargaining unit salaried and full-time and part-time hourly employees employed as of June 30th, 2026. Ms. Cooper also shared, excuse me, I probably should make that motion.
Yeah, can we stop there and make the motion? Okay.
I move, Madam Chair, that we adopt the recommendation of the administration to increase salaries 4.5% for the non-bargaining unit.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by trustee Cross, seconded by trustee Carroll. Any discussion?
Good idea.
I just want to say we negotiate with our faculty association every 3 years. This is part of the agreed increase in salary, and this was the agreement, and so this year is part of that.
Many of us did negotiate, and many of us were accused of playing games. And the 4.5% is the work of many of us, I think unanimously adopted. I'm not sure, we maybe had one no vote. But there were games and legitimate and ethical machinations and work done by many of us to accomplish this. And Madam Chair, I want to thank you for your leadership on this issue, and I wholeheartedly endorse this.
Thank you, trustee Cross, with that wholehearted endorsement. We're going to move on to a vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Please proceed.
Ms. Cooper, Madam Chair, thank you. Also shared the updated compensation plan with the committee and reviewed the substantial changes to the document. The changes to the document can be viewed in the board packet. The recommendation from the Employee Engagement and Development Committee is as follows. It is the recommendation of the Employee Engagement and Development Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the compensation plan as presented, and I so move, Madam Chair.
Okay, do I have a second? Motion made by trustee Cross, seconded by trustee Jennings. Any discussion on the compensation plan provided in the board packet, which is significant and very thorough? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to comment that this is one of those points of transparency that this college prides itself on. Not every institution publishes all that goes into compensating their faculty and staff, and we do, and we put it out in our board report so that the public knows what their money is going for and how their investment in our community college affects the incredible employees we have, and I appreciate that. So with that motion and second, we're going to move to a vote. Hearing no other discussion. Okay, all in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Trustee Cross, please.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Very good. All right, that's going to take us to the Management and Finance Committee report by trustee Mitchell.
I will read as fast as I can. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You take as much time as you need.
The Management Finance Committee held their meeting at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, June 3rd. The information related to the meeting can be found on pages 24 through 37 of your board packet. The Management Finance Committee received the following report from Institutional Advancement regarding the Neerman Museum of Contemporary Arts. Joanne Northrup, Executive Director of the Neerman Museum, presented an informational update on 2025-26 activities. The presentation highlighted art acquisitions and loans, as well as arts education programming. Additionally, she shared the new visitorship dashboard tool created to monitor the number of visitors to the museum. Financial data, including the museum's endowment funds, annual operating expenses, and grants, was also presented. Then we had our monthly topic, then we went on to our normal monthly topic of other agreements. Rachel Lears, Executive Vice President for Finance and Administrative Services, presented an agreement with Great Jobs KC. Details can be found in the consent agenda portion of the June 18th, 2026 board packet. Next, the committee received an update on capital acquisitions and improvements and facilities master plan updates for phase 1 projects. We started with a discussion about the master plan projects. Rachel Lears, EVP of Finance and Administrative Services, and Tom Hall, Associate Vice President of Campus Services Facility Planning, provided an update on the implementation of the 2025 Facilities Master Plan Phase 1 Group 1 projects, which include construction of a new healthcare education building on the main campus, an on-ground observatory, an outdoor classroom amphitheater, etc. Further details will be shared at an upcoming board retreat planned for Thursday, July 16th, 2026. Then we received a monthly update on capital acquisitions and improvements progress report, as I turn the page, from Tom Hall, Associate Vice President, Campus Services and Facility Planning. It provides the committee the information on facilities projects from the capital acquisitions and improvements matrix. The matrix summarizes and monitors the budget and actual expenses for campus service projects and includes payments through May 30th of 2026. The Management and Finance Committee has the following recommendation to present this evening. There are 16 recommendations in total. One is for real estate, one is a real estate agreement, 2 are policy modification recommendations, and 13 are procurement-related procurement recommendations. Okay, let's start off with the real estate agreement. It's for the West Park facility. It's the 7th lease amendment agreement. Tom Hall, Associate Vice President, Campus Services Facility Planning, reported that the 6th lease agreement for the West Park Center located at 9780 West 87th Street, Overland Park, Kansas, which commenced on August 1st, 2020, will expire on July 31st, 2026. The college occupies 27,430 square feet of leased space at West Park, which is currently being used for workforce development and continuing education programs. The proposed 7th lease amendment agreement will extend the lease for a 6-year term from August 1st, 2026 through July 31st, 2032. After July 31st, 2029, the college will have the right to terminate the lease as of July 31st each year. So the recommendation is that, it is the recommendation of the Management Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the administration's recommendation to execute the 7th lease amendment agreement with West Park OP LLC. And I so move.
Second.
All right, moved by trustee Mitchell. I heard a very quiet second from trustee Rattan. Was it? Yeah, I was gonna say, I heard the whisper over here, so I'll take your second.
I'm second on the next 15.
Gotcha, gotcha. That makes it easier, thank you. Trustee Cross for helping us move things along. For the West Park lease agreement, any discussion? Yes, trustee Carroll.
Madam Chair, what programs specifically are there?
I'm actually going to answer that question because I worked there. So my first, when my family and I moved back to Johnson County from our travels in other places, they house the adult GED program, the adult ESL program, which allows our community members to literally walk in. That entire area has a lot of apartments, and a lot of the families there have no other transportation. So they walk in to enroll, and they learn English at 4 different levels, which is an ongoing grant from federal government in Kansas. And then on the other side is the, it's not the nail, is it only nails now? Yeah, I was like, it's not cosmetology, it's only nails.
Cosmetology?
It's not cosmetology. Trustee Cross, we'll have to catch up on that.
Too soon?
Yeah, just too soon for sure. The nails program. As long as I'm on this board, this is one of those small little things that I will continue to advocate for, because the lease in that location, which is directly across from the county's largest library, So on 87th Street and right down the street from Overland Park, council, mayor's office, city offices, is a really important part of the community. It's also where charity, secondhand, resale stores are, not secondhand stores, I think we're correct, are, and the community knows that facilities where they can go to, move themselves along. So the lease, in my eyes, has always been a critical one that I want us to keep, and I think we need to keep advocating. But I'll get off my soapbox because it was your question.
Yes, thank
Mr.
you for
Carroll.
that,
Yeah.
Madam Chair. Follow-up question. So is there any, and I appreciate your feedback on that, are they able to connect with the main campus at all? Is there any transportation to get them, back and forth to the main campus if they want to be able to take advantage of the amenities we have here?
The college doesn't currently provide anything, but the bus routes would service from West Park to the Circle Drive at the Midwest Trust Center.
Okay, because that's just what my thought process is. It sounds great, and it sounds like it's in a great location, but I also want them to feel as if they're part of the bigger college as well.
Yeah.
Elisa Waldman, I'm the Vice President of Workforce Development and Continuing Education, and this program is in the WDCE branch. So there are actually 5 locations. West Park is the primary location where the bulk of the 1,600 to 1,800 students attend. But we do have classes. Our English Connection classes are held on campus, and lots of opportunities for those students they often come as well to our testing center to take their GED exam. We have graduation. Hopefully some of you are at graduation. So our GED graduation is here, and then we offer all of those GED graduates 6 hours of credit courses so that they can come right to campus after that. And we have we have 2 transition coaches who are on the JCAE, the Adult Basic Ed staff, and they are constantly helping with that transition and different opportunities to come to campus.
Thank you so much. I just don't want them to feel isolated on that kind of satellite campus.
I will say, just again, from my own experience, it's a unique place where people who are, they know that English is the barrier to their success in America, come as a first step into figuring out their trajectory here in the United States. And in the time since I was there, Elisa and her team have done an excellent job of bridging them to the campus eventually. When I was there, that was the discussion is, I had civil engineer from Spain, seminary minister from Guatemala, artist from Japan, culinary lady from, dentist from Yemen. Like, they were professionals in their home country whose only barrier to success here was English. And we didn't have an avenue for them to get to campus after us. They have worked very hard on that and now have direct conversations with students after the English courses of how to get to campus. And the GED students now have those credits are already built into their graduation, is having free classes on campus, which makes them the incentive to get here much better. So yes, transportation is certainly one we could improve, as this entire county could improve, frankly. But
we also have a very successful AOK program, Accelerating Opportunities Kansas. And so those students, some of those students participate in our credit classes for CNA, and they also get their CDL licenses. So I think we had 11 ELL, English Language Learner students, who took our CNA courses. And we have a para, for lack of a better term, who is in that class helping them to translate the 1,500 terms that they need to learn. So there's a lot of opportunity there as well. Yeah.
Just like we heard tonight with the veterans, it's kind of one of those things, once you get one family member, you get the whole family. And so being able to get them here is a critical next step for them, for sure. Good question. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Any other questions about this? We are not going as fast as I said we were, and here we are. I got to get off my soapbox. Yes, Trustee Rutan.
Just a quick one, in that I know that when we changed the cosmetology program, people moved out of there. So Are we at capacity there, and do we need to lease the amount of square footage that we've leased in the past if we're not using it for as many people as we've used it?
When the cosmetology program left the space, the JCAE enrollment was increased so that we're really well utilizing the 27,000 square feet that we have leased.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other questions? We have a motion, we have a second. Trustee Cross?
Democracy means deliberation. Thank you, Madam Chair, for indulging us.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we're going to proceed to the vote. All in favor with the West Park lease amendment, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 7-1. Trustee Mitchell, I believe you're in the middle of a report. Please, I'm sorry, what did I say?
7-0.
7-0, unanimous. I'm telling you, I don't know what I ate today, but it's messed me all the way up. All right, Trustee Mitchell, please proceed.
Might be something in the sun, the moon, and the stars, who knows? But next, we have 2 policy update recommendations. Rachel Lear's Executive Vice President, Finance and Administrative Services, reviewed the following recommended modifications to the Framework for Investment Policy 214-00 and the Visitors on Campus Policy 6.1400. Recommendation number 1, it is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of college administration to approve modifications to the Framework for Investments Policy 214 as shown subsequently in the board packet. And I so move.
Okay, motion made by Mitchell. I heard a second by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion? Trustee Mitchell?
Just a quick comment, this change is driven by changes in Kansas statutes, and the statute really impacts the financial institutions more than it impacts us, but it's an acknowledgement of those statutes that's being added to the.
Thank you for that clarity.
Yep.
Trustee Holden?
So a quick question on this. So what were, I appreciate that, but what were the challenges? I mean, is this all because of the policy, or did we have challenges with the way we were doing it before?
Are you talking about the investment policy? This doesn't present any challenges to the college. It's really a change in process for our financial institution, which is currently Commerce Bank. They're now required to participate in the Kansas collateral pool to basically pool collateral for all of the investments of public institutions that they hold, rather than each institution collateralizing separately. So it's a change in process for them, to Trustee Mitchell's point, more than it really is for us. We just need to modify our policy to correspond to that.
Okay. And we don't have any concerns with this? Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or clarification?
Yes, if I may, and I asked questions that morning, and I'm sorry to belabor it. Sure. It essentially collateralizing, and I'm just a litigator, it means we want to make sure they have adequate funds on hand to service all of the public entities that they're servicing. Is that?
Yes, to ensure that their investments of public dollars are safe and secured.
And it took like 5 questions for me to understand it, so I just don't know if that helps you, but we're just making sure they have money or collateral on it.
I'm good enough.
A lot of times when the state changes their policies, we've got to change ours to reflect that, and that's largely what my understanding of this one is. It's due to one of our oversight bodies affecting what we do, and really in this case, not even what we do, it's just what the institutions we deal with do. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's not something we really even have a lot of control over. We just have to change with the changes. Is that clear? All right, any other discussion on this motion? We're zigzagging tonight. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Please proceed, Trustee Mitchell.
Second recommendation, it is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve modification to the Visitors on Campus Policy 614-00 as shown subsequently in the board packet, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Mitchell, seconded by Trustee Cross. Any discussion? Trustee Mitchell.
This rule only does one thing, well, 2 things. It clarifies what the term visitor means, and it also specifies that faculty has to approve visitors to their classroom. And the policy was last updated in March of 2025.
I noticed that means we're now visitors, so.
That is true. I was going to add
So everybody
that.
knows we're reclassified, and make sure you know that you're a visitor when you're on campus, all right? Any other discussion?
Sure.
Here, no. Hearing none, I'm going to proceed to a vote. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously 7-0. Please proceed.
Jim Fikert, Executive Director, Procurement Services, presented recommendations for 13 bids and awards, 3 bids and awards, 9 cooperative bids and awards, and 1 renewal. That should be 13, sorry. And I'm going to go off script a little bit and just ask for your consent to, once we've made a motion and approval, for me to go ahead and make some quick comments on all of these, because I have a comment for each one of them.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. The first one is for WCE course registration software. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the proposal from Concourse Tech for a base year of $82,500 and a total expenditure of $412,500 throughout the option renewal years. And I so move.
Okay, motion made by trustee Mitchell. Do I have a second? Trustee Cross with the second. Any discussion? Please bring up your comment. Trustee
Yeah,
Mitchell.
this is funded by adult supplementary funds, the revenue source of which is from tuition and fees paid by students in the workforce development and continuing education programs. This is being awarded to the lowest bidder through an RFP process.
Any more discussion? Trustee Rattan?
It actually, they are not the lowest bidder. They show 68,000 was
Did I
the
make an erroneous comment there? Were they the lowest
they were in the-
responsible and reasonable?
They,
Most qualified.
Lowest qualified, okay. Lowest qualified bidder, pardon, yeah.
because there was one
Clarification.
lower.
Sorry about that.
Any other discussion? Clarification? Hearing none? Oh,
I do have a quick
yeah,
question.
go for it, trustee Holton.
Was there any communication around why this third bidder here is so low? I mean, we're talking about,
Well, let's talk about it.
quite a bit.
Quite
Quite
a
a
bit.
bit-
have
it's quite a bit lower.
Specific notes on that.
I'm assuming that they weren't.
They weren't doing the
didn't
whole
meet the
package,
specifications for the bid.
Democracy means.
Glad you stayed close.
Just pull a chair out.
So I asked this very same question, and their package was not complete in meeting what was requested, and did not meet what we anticipate the future needs will be technologically.
Any other questions, trustee Holton?
Nope. No, thank you.
Lowest qualified bidder.
Yes,
Lowest qualified bidder.
Yes. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Please proceed, trustee Mitchell.
The second one is agrivoltaics and ecovoltaics. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the proposal from MC Power in the amount of $326,462 with an additional 10% contingency of $32,646 to allow for possible unforeseeable costs for a total amount of $359,108. I so move.
Second.
Thank you for that. Motion made by trustee Mitchell, seconded by trustee Cross. And any discussion, questions on this one? Comments, trustee Mitchell?
Yeah, the funding will come from capital funds, and these systems allow for ground-mounted solar that are configured to facilitate agricultural production and energy production at the same time on the same piece of land. Of course, this would be for the open pedal farm, and this is awarded to the most responsible bidder according to the RFP criteria.
Any other questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Please proceed.
The third one is on-call power repair and replacement services. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the proposals from Keeley Restoration Services and Outlook Hardscape for a base year of $500,000 and an estimated total expenditure of $2,500,000 throughout the renewal options. And I so move.
Thank you for the motion. Do I have a second? Okay, trustee Jennings with the second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just point out again, the funding will come from capital funds. It is for the provision of relatively routine upgrades, installations, and replacements. This was awarded to the most responsive responsible bidder according to RFP criteria again.
So pavers. All right, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes 7-0. Please proceed.
The next one is steel case furniture. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Circadia for a total estimated expenditure of $300,000 for FY '27.
Okay.
I so move.
Thank you for that motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? Trustee Cross with the second. Any discussion? Trustee Rattan?
What I understand the cooperative purchases means we're part of a group of other companies that purchase these to get like economy of, like a discount
Right.
because of large bulk purchases.
Yep, exactly. So, and apparently we have a lot of these. You'll see several of them tonight. So we're basically tapping into a pre-negotiated agreement that someone has made and said, we're going to open this agreement up to the following types of organizations or a list of the following organizations. And so if we fit into that list, we qualify to get those rates.
Saves us money.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none. Proceeding with the vote, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes 7-0. Please proceed.
The next one is for Herman Miller and Knoll Furniture. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from John A. Marshall for a total estimated expenditure of $500,000 for fiscal year '27, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, motion made by trustee Mitchell, seconded by trustee Jennings. Anybody else can throw in a second here tonight? Any discussion on the Herman Miller Knoll Furniture bid?
Kind of the same deal as before, but this would access a different cooperative purchasing agreement than the other one did.
Okay.
And I'm assuming we use both Herman Miller and Knoll and Steelcase Furniture on this campus, so that's why we have to have two separate agreements.
Questions, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes 7-0. Please proceed.
Regents Flooring, it is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Regents Flooring for a total estimated expenditure of $250,000 rather for fiscal year '27, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, motion made by trustee Mitchell, seconded by trustee Cross. Any discussion on Regents Flooring? Seeing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Please proceed.
I think we're at halftime.
Yeah, I think we are.
Number
not jinx
7
it.
is Dell Products. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Dell for a total expenditure of $1,750,000. And I so move.
That motion, trustee Carroll with a second. Do I have any questions or discussion about this purchase, significant purchase? Trustee Mitchell, do you have any clarification to make about this one?
Well, I was just going to mention that the funding comes from general funds. It's for the provisions of computers and Chromebooks for the instructional technology plan. And it's based on a cooperative purchase agreement, which I mentioned earlier, and that's through Midwest Higher Education Commission.
Okay. I noticed that Rob stepped out, but I just wondered how many like pieces we might get with this, or if this is like a I know sometimes we do like, you know, all faculty, and sometimes we do them for labs. Sometimes we do like different groups that are targeted. This one just seems significantly higher than I remember.
Well, this is an estimated placeholder for the entire next fiscal year.
Okay.
So I don't know how many exact devices it would be for. But again, as part of our ITP process, where everything that gets purchased is on a replacement cycle, and generally it's at least a 5-year replacement for a new device.
He's given us the answer before, but what do you do with the 5-year-old pieces of equipment when you get in new?
We have several options. We tried to use those in different, opportunities around campus that they can be repurposed. Sometimes we're able to donate those to other organizations. Sometimes we're able to sell them after we, wipe all of the information off. So, and then, if the last resort is a surplus kind of a situation. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Trustee Mitchell, please proceed.
Number 8, and recognizing that like most organizations, we use both PC and Apple products. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Apple for a total expenditure of $500,000.
Trustee Mitchell, would you like to make the motion first?
I so move.
Thank you. And motion made by Trustee Mitchell, seconded by Trustee Cross. Do we have any discussion on the Apple products? Okay, Apple's better, but
Love Apple,
that's all I'll say about that.
I want that credit.
What?
I love Apple.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries 7-0. Please proceed.
This one's moving on to network infrastructure hardware. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from CDWG for a total expenditure of $1,500,000, and I so move.
Okay, Trustee Mitchell with the motion, Trustee Cross with the second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Trustee Mitchell.
You may recall that I think we had a very similar approval last month, and the reason why we had that is because Sirius Computer Systems was acquired by CDWG, so that approval was housekeeping basically to fix that contract and move that existing funds that remained on that contract over. And so this contract would pick up when that one expires, which is coming up shortly, I believe. So that's why we had it 2 months in a row. And that was a much smaller number. It's like a tenth the size of this number, if I remember correctly.
Thank you for your ongoing clarification with these points. Any further discussion?
It's like he's answering like a live feed. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. Any all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to our yearly, almost feels like weekly, masonry repairs. Trustee
Second.
Mitchell.
Should I dispense with even reading the amounts?
Moved.
In the amount of, no, it is a recommendation of the Management Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from MTS Contracting in the amount of $247,536 with an additional 10% contingency of $24,754 to allow for possible unforeseen costs for a total amount of $272,900. So move.
Second.
Very good. Motion made by Trustee Mitchell, seconded by Trustee Jennings. Any discussion?
It's actually $290, not 290, not two.
Did I say 920 or something?
You said 2,900.
It's a little verbal dyslexia there. It's for a
272.
total amount of $272,290.
There we go. All right, thank you for that clarification. Any discussion? I will just say, for as long as you serve on this board, this comes up every 6 months. We are constantly repairing bricks around this building, or around this campus, because we have bricks everywhere. So, part of our ongoing maintenance forever and ever and ever. We're going to proceed to the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. Trustee Mitchell, we're getting down to the last.
Yes, this one is for commercial kitchen appliance and equipment. It is the recommendation of the Management Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from Trimark Hockenberg for a total estimated expenditure of $203,560 for fiscal year '26.
Are you making that motion?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you for that. And Trustee Carroll with the second tonight, taking another one. Any discussion on the culinary updates, commercial kitchen updates?
Yeah, and I think it's noted in the book, but we're basically swapping out the kitchen equipment in WHCA 148 because it's outdated and needs to be replaced. So this stuff is kind of expensive.
I have the same question. What do we do with the outdated equipment?
This equipment, as I understand, is original to the building, so it's been in there since it opened in 2013. So I'm not sure what sorts of opportunities we'll have for something that's that old, but we'll follow our disposition of property process again and look for ways to donate it, sell it, repurpose it, et cetera. Yeah, absolutely.
Go for scrap.
Yeah,
Hey, I got
15 years old,
$5.
yeah.
All right, any other discussion? I will just add, I was gonna say, there's been very few large updates in my time here that I can recall in the culinary building, because it was new. It's one of the newer buildings and was built state-of-the-art at the time, and that equipment is held up, so I'm sure they're looking forward to this improvement in equipment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, proceeding to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Are hearing none, motion passes 7-0, and we're moving on to Cisco.
You got another computer one, yes.
Yep.
It is the recommendation of the Management Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve the cooperative purchase from CDWG for a total expenditure of $265,937. And I so move.
Second.
Thank you for that motion, seconded by trustee Jennings. Any discussion on this one? Any points you want to bring up?
This one is being funded by Career Technical Education Capital Funds. It's based on a cooperative purchase agreement with the state of Kansas. It's for the provision of routers, switches, and firewalls, and kind of network type stuff. And it's going to be used, it sounds like, to fix up a lab where they're doing Cisco training.
Oh, nice,
So
okay. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, proceed to the vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. And finally, trustee Mitchell.
it is the security camera on-call services. It is the recommendation of the Management and Finance Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve Extension 1, Renewal Option 2 for Envision Technology Group for a total estimated amount of $200,000, and I so move.
Motion made by trustee Mitchell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Rattan, with the second. Hang in there, everyone. All right, any discussion on the security camera on-call services?
Just want to point out that this is based on an existing contract, and it is, again, a renewal. It looks like the original approval on this goes back all the way to April of 2020.
Okay,
It's an ongoing thing.
thank you for that. Any further discussion or questions?
Thank you to the staff who prepared our scripts and narratives.
Very much. That was a lot. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for cooperating this time, trustee Cross.
I know you're paying attention.
Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Right, trustee Mitchell.
There were a number of additional bids and awards, cooperative bids and awards, renewals, and single-source justifications that were informational, that were of an informational manner, each with costs between $50,000 and $149,999 that were presented to the committee. No board action is required on these. And thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you for getting us through that, and we are going to proceed with our Student Success Committee report. Trustee Jennings, a few less than trustee Mitchell, but not less important.
True, but I have a way to get around some of that.
Okay, great.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. The Student Success Committee met on Wednesday, June 3rd at 9:30 a.m. in GEB 137. Shelley Allens, Vice President of Student Success and Engagement, led the discussion on the following policies. Student Code of Conduct, Policy 319.01. Student Disciplinary Action Policy 319.02. And Student Complaints Policy 319.04. Red line changes to the above policies can be subsequently found in the consent agenda of the June 16th board packet. Since there are several policies before us here tonight, I move that the Board of Trustees consider the policies in one motion, and I so move.
Second.
Excellent recommendation, trustee Jennings, and I heard a second from trustee Cross. Or with that, please proceed. Oh, no, so we need, that was just to bundle them, and then we need to make the motion. Okay, we don't have Kelsey, so I got to.
We need to vote on the
Oh, thank you,
bundle.
we need to vote on the bundling, thank you. All right, any discussion on the bundling of the three policies? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor of bundling, say aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. And then please proceed with your recommendations.
It is the recommendation of the Student Success Committee that the Board of Trustees accept the recommendation of the college administration to approve modification to the Student Code of Conduct Policy 319.01, Student Disciplinary Action Policy 319.02, and Student Complaints Policy 319.04, and I so move.
Second.
All right, motion made by trustee Jennings, seconded by trustee Mitchell. Do we have any discussion on any of these three policies that we are going to take up tonight? Trustee Rattan.
I just wanted to point out in the Code of Conduct policy that there is a significant paragraph dedicated to addressing issues with artificial intelligence. I know that several colleges are trying to figure out a way around that, but I just wanted to point out that that's a significant paragraph to start to clarify when it's not okay.
Yep. Any further discussion? Any questions? All right, hearing none, we will proceed with the Student Code of Conduct Policy, Student Disciplinary Action Policy, and Student Complaints Policy in one motion. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, trustee Jennings. Please proceed.
Mary Wiskerda, Dean of Mathematics and Sciences, provided an update on the division. Dean Wiskerda began by sharing information about a few very popular past events, which included the solar eclipse in 2024. She said currently the students travel to Powell Observatory for viewing, and the proposed JCCC on-ground observatory that will benefit future students and the public. Some other highlights from Dean Wiskerda included Raptor Day for zoology students, Friends of the Cough for EVRN students, and the STEM Poster Symposium. April is Math Awareness Month, and JCCC math faculty celebrated by hosting several events, including the Professor Math Battle and Dr. Mix's presentation on weaving math into everyday life and work.
Math is elemental.
4 JCC students were the highest scorers at the American Mathematical Association of Two-Year Colleges, which is AMATYC. Dean Wiskerda also said these events illustrate the compassion and enthusiasm for math and science professors and how they possess that for their teaching. The next meeting of the Student Success Committee is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. All right, that takes us to our treasurer's report. And guess who we haven't heard from tonight? Just a kidding, Trustee Mitchell with the treasurer's report this evening.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. The board packet includes the treasurer's report for the month ended April 30th, 2026. Some items of note include on page 1 is the general post-secondary technical education funds, which are the primary operating funds of the college. The general fund unencumbered cash balance as of April 30th, 2026 was $140.8 million, which is approximately $4 million higher than it was in April 2025. Expenditures of the primary operating funds are within the approved budgetary limits. And with that, I'm going to say it is a recommendation of the college administration that the Board of Trustees approve the treasurer's report for the month ended April 2026, subject to audit. And I so move.
Do you have a motion from Trustee
Second.
Mitchell? Do I have a second from Trustee Cross? All in favor, any discussion on the treasurer's report? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 7-0. Trustee Mitchell.
That concludes the report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very good. It's been lovely hearing from you this evening. However, we are now ready to hear from our fearless leader,
right.
Dr. Mixa, on our monthly report to the
Thank you very
board.
much. All right. So I'll just start. You should have the enrollment report there. If not, we can certainly get it to you. Our summer, we're down numbers a little bit, between 2% and 3% between head count and total credit hours. Doesn't concern us. Summer usually kind of is very varied, just depends on what's happening. On the flip side, in the fall, we're up between 4.5% and 5.5%. So we're doing really well. Fall is our big number. So we feel pretty positive with what's going on. Part of a little bit about the summer, I'll look at John out there and he can correct me if I go off. The way we're looking at our numbers this year, the way they're looking at our numbers last year, they don't that just with the way the summer started and the way we're pulling it, it's off a little bit. So that's the
It's not the World Cup effect.
no, it's not the
That
World Cup.
students want to watch World Cup instead of come to
Well,
class.
it could be. You never know.
Okay,
So,
well.
but I just want to reiterate, great job to the baseball team. I would have loved to be at the celebration, but I want to thank each one of you for being there. That was there and doing that. I also do want to remind you, our baseball team certainly I probably enjoyed, but also remember, every one of our athletic teams made it to the national tournament this year. You really couldn't ask for much more out of an athletic program.
Seriously.
Same thing with commencement. Thanks, every one of you, for being at the commencement. We had about 752 students participate in that one main event. I don't know the numbers for all the events before that. What I will say is I felt like on Thursday after commencement, like I didn't see you guys because I saw you like every day, I felt like before that. So it was like
Missing a
I was
place
a little
in
bit
your life,
lost.
weren't
Right,
you?
exactly right. So we had 3,800 students earn degrees or certificates. I want to throw a big thank you out to the faculty, to the staff, and to everybody that participated in it. Great work, wonderful celebration. For my first graduation, I had a wonderful time. It was just a great feeling, so I was really happy for that and happy for the work that everybody did to get us there. So that was wonderful. Going to miss some of those students. They were really great students. As Trustee Cross said, went down to the KACC meeting. I think that the performance funding is something that's going to be kind of a hot topic here a little bit. We'll discuss that more. And I can say, even though Trustee Cross is out of the room, he does a great job representing you. He is in there. He's in the mix of everything. You know how he is with his politics. He loves it. So that is great. The Lenexa City Chamber was here on campus. It was this week. I got to welcome them here, but they did a panel of K through 12 leaders, and they did like a sort of question and answer session. So it was really nice. Learn some of the challenges that they're facing in the K through 12 area. The cell phone ban, the changing demographics, and the funding. Those are all things that are kind of hitting them kind of hard. So we had our National Community College Benchmarking Conference here today, which I think is a wonderful thing that brings people from all over the country. It was one of our largest events or largest conferences that we've had in a long time, over 100 people. One night I got to take, there was 3 or 4 presidents there. I took them out to dinner. We got to talk, so it was wonderful listening to some of the challenges. It was the chancellor from the city colleges. There was a college in Wisconsin that was actually really close to where we were living before we moved down to Tennessee, Black Hawk College. And then one in New York, Onondaga. I always say that one wrong, so that was great. If you get a chance to get to the Nerman Museum, of course, is always wonderful, but we have a new exhibit, Sports and Spectator, so there's some great stuff wrapped around sports. A lot of great artistry and everything. One of the things that really captivated my eyes, though, there is a TV, some flat screen TVs with like some of the great sporting events that's been over the last 50 years or whatever, so that was wonderful to see that. I also want to do a big shout out to the Nerman as well, too. One of our pieces, the Do Ho Su piece, that big sort of jacket that's up there with the dog tags, is going to be on loan to the Guggenheim. We are next level, so we're all a big deal. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. Maybe there's a chance that we can be there for the opening of that there at the Guggenheim.
Like the field trip.
We can strut like we're really special. I'll just do just a couple other quick little things here. The dental hygiene students, the class of 2026, achieved a 100% pass rate on the National Dental Hygiene Board exam. That is great work. It's a testament to the great work that the faculty and that program have there and how good that they do preparing those students. It's such a wonderful program. I think another program within workforce development, first off, I would say workforce development has already hit their enrollment goals for this year. What was the number, Elisa?
Our goal was 17,465, and we're about 17,600 right now.
17,600.
Still going until the end of the month.
Right, so we can actually go a little bit. One program, though, I want to highlight that we do, we have a partnership with N-Circle and Johnson County Adult Residential Center called College of the Trades. It's designed to reduce recidivism of students who are in the justice system. They celebrated 11 graduates that achieved 100% employment at graduation, and then 55% enrollment rate where they come over to JCCC and take some classes. So that's a wonderful. And I just want to throw one last thing out that was kind of neat. So some of you kind of, my brother, sister-in-law, and her son came to Kansas City because he got to go to the Argentina game, so it was pretty cool for him. But one day they came over, had lunch, and then I got to tour them on campus. Only really had some time, but I got to 3 buildings. A big shout out to Stacy McDaniels and the MTC, Martina in the Nerman, I won't work on her last name there, and then faculty in the FADS building, but I took them just to those 3 spaces. Dominic, the son, leaned into mom and said, can we move here? So, which shows how wonderful this campus is and how great it is. And also, I just want to say how willing people were to engage when we went on a tour. So it was a really wonderful place. So just a big shout out to everybody, but we work at a wonderful place.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you very much.
All right, any questions for Dr. Mixa on his presidential report? Okay, well, I just want to say, I think if our piece is going to the Guggenheim, then we are too, and they need to roll out a red carpet, and, we're just going to make a whole, a week of it, I feel like would be reasonable, don't you think?
Let's talk, Caitlin. Let's talk.
Oh, it's on the board.
Right, yeah.
I mean, look, we can pivot to Zoom or whatever, how is that a problem?
All we gotta do is cut, all we gotta do is cut the apple
Flexible
budget.
people, we're flexible people, I'm sure.
Cut the apple budget 10%, we're
Reasonable,
good.
yeah. All right, seeing no questions, we are going to move on to new business. I am not aware of any new business before the board, which takes us to old business, and I'm also not aware of any old business. So that is going to take us to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a bundled set of agreements and awards and human resource issues that we bundle all in one motion. And I will take a motion for taking up the consent agenda.
So moved.
Trustee Cross with the motion. Do I have a second? Trustee Mitchell with the second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Anything that anyone wants to pull? I bet you're going to say the same thing I am. Trustee Rattan?
Why are there so many ELL
Nope, that was.
faculty separating from the school at once? There's like 5 of them.
Busy tonight.
You called Leslie Dykstra with that very same question. It is just normal attrition for this time of year. So they're in their summer break, and they've got about 85 faculty in general. So I asked her, she said none of them were challenging or problematic. They're just, school teachers who are either taking a break or, deciding to do something different.
Do they get rehired?
No, those 5 will not. These are very part-time positions. So they're often teaching for 3 hours a week. And so, life circumstances change and they decide they're not going to do it now. They might come back in a few semesters, but yeah, nothing unusual. I asked on that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Well, I just wanted to mention, no need to pull it off, but Mr. Belk, what is his first name? Pete Belk put in that he is retiring, and I just, the audacity of him to retire after being here, I think 20-something years. He's been here a very long time, and I don't approve. So I'm gonna echo my protest to that. And
So you're a no vote on the consent agenda?
that's right. No, but anytime we have staff that are incredible and long-serving, of course, he was here last month to present to us what his team does on the recruitment side. We want to recognize them, and he has been he's come to some events for me when I'm trying to help recruit with people, and he's been a great asset for this campus for many, many years. So we will miss him, although we do have him, I believe it says until January. So he's given us a long runway to say goodbye. But that one, I did not like that one when I got to that on the board consent agenda. With that, I don't see any other discussion. We will move to take up the consent agenda. All confirm with a vote of yes.
Yes.
In favor? Yes. Okay, any opposed?
No.
Hearing none, motion passes consent agenda 7-0. That takes us to executive session, which I am going to read correctly so that I don't botch this. I would like to entertain a motion to go in executive session for an employee evaluation under the Personnel Matters of Non-Elected Personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. No action will be taken during this session. The executive session will last for, I'm suggesting 45 minutes. Does that seem doable for our trustees here? If we got started at 40 after, then that would take us, who can do that math? If we
18 right now.
Oh, look, I'm reading that. I really am like, something happened, like a magnetic, I saw that 2 minutes ago, and then I completely reversed it tonight. I don't know, I need to go, I don't know what's going on. going to say
25.
25, we will begin the session. And if we go for 45 minutes, who can do that? Because I can.
10 after.
Clearly tonight, I am not the one to do that. That will take us until 8:10. And we will, at which time we will come back for open session and resume at this location. So 7:25 PM to 8:10 PM, right over here in the Libby Room. We would like to invite all trustees and Dr. Tony Mixa to the executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Mitchell. I believe I heard a second from trustee Cross, is that correct?
Carol.
Okay. All in, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We will begin executive session in 5 minutes right over there. Thank you. Good evening. The time is 8:10 on June 19th, and we have just come out of our executive session. However, at this time, we've determined we would like more time. So therefore, I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session again. This time, for an employee evaluation under the personnel matters of non-elected personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. No action will be taken during this session. The executive session will last 30 minutes this time and begin at, I'm going to say, is that 8:12? Yes. Okay, at 8:12 and go till 8:42, at which time open session will resume at this same location. We would like to invite all trustees and Dr. Tony Mixa to join the executive session. Do I have a motion?
Chair, I move we go into executive session.
Thank you. Motion made by Mitchell, seconded by Trustee Holton. Excellent.
Voice.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. We will go back into executive session until the time. Thank you. Oh, we're out, okay. The time is 8:43 according to my clock, and we have now come out of our open executive session where no, what is the word I'm supposed to use?
No action was taken?
Thank you, no, I'm really a mess tonight, guys. No action was taken. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
Trustee Mitchell with the adjournment, second by Trustee Rattan. Do I have a yes from everyone?
Yes.
All right. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Woo.